Before I get started with the video, I thought I would remind you that every month we have a 2A virtual conference for patriots so that they can learn more about what it takes to defend yourself in court, whether it's civil or criminal, after you've had to defend yourself with a firearm, which, God forbid, never happens. But it is great information to have, and so as a result, this month's 2A Patriot Virtual Conference on GunGuyTV crew will be with Sean Maloney, 30-year experienced defense attorney. He'll be talking to us about what we need to know from a legal perspective, and he'll be able to answer your questions directly. You won't have to ask me, you can ask him yourself. Now, the thing is, it's only available on GunGuyTV crew, so you got to be a crew member to attend. So my suggestion is sign up today. You can follow the link in the description, or you can just go to GunGuyTVcrew.com. Good morning, I'm Joel Persinger. Thank you very much for all of your support of GunGuyTV. I'm super grateful for everything you do. Obviously, I'm out for my morning hike this morning. Today I'm out in a place called Mission Trails Park. And I generally hike every day, trying to stay fit, you know, in the old age. Otherwise, if you're going to be a gun guy, you got to stay somewhat in shape, right? In any case, I'm out on about a 5 or 6 mile hike this morning, and I wanted to chat with you about something that happened last night, which I thought was very encouraging. I'm finding that not only are the polls showing that people who were previously anti-gun are more and more interested in firearms. That's why we have so many new gun owners around the country, because of COVID and the Black Lives Matter stuff and the Antifa stuff and all that things that happened in 2020, which was a strange year to be sure. But also, I think, just an understanding that's finally sinking through, and that is that you can't carry a cop in your pocket, and that the government isn't going to take care of you all the time. And in fact, sometimes, like the government of California, they're not going to take care of you at all. They're going to release criminals early out of prison that are violent criminals, and then expect you to fend for yourself by defunding the police. I think these things have finally hit home, perhaps not with extreme progressives so much, but certainly with classic, what I would call classic liberals. Now, I'll give you an example. Last night, my wife and I went out to dinner at Tom Ham's Lighthouse, which is one of my favorite restaurants. It's on Harbor Island here in San Diego County, in San Diego. You get to sit on the veranda and enjoy the beautiful bay. And the food is great. I can highly recommend it. In any case, while we were there having dinner, the couple at the table next to us was a retired couple, and I think probably in their mid-70s. Both of them retired high school teachers in the California school districts. Well, whether you know it or not, my wife is a speech and language pathologist, and she spent 30 some odd years working in California school districts. And while she herself is very conservative, a gun owner, and a Second Amendment supporter, it's a fact, and she can tell you that the vast majority of people in the school system don't fall into that category. They tend to be very liberal and certainly not pro-gun. Yet, in the conversation we were having, once they discovered what I did for a living, he started telling me about his Vietnam combat experience, and that he had regretfully, at some point, when he got back from the war, he'd gotten rid of what he called all of his weapons and had never purchased them again. And he said he had decided, after having been violent in the military, he wanted to be nonviolent. And now he's discovered that him being not violent is a nice thing, but being nonviolent doesn't mean that people won't bring violence to you. And that was his statement. She, on the other hand, this very soft-spoken lady, and by the way, they were a delight. We really enjoyed chatting with them and joking with them, laughing and everything else. What a delightful couple. But she, 33 years or 34 years in the school district, commented that so many people, most people, and her words, most people don't know anything about firearms. And the fact that I teach people how to shoot, and have for a long time, is an extremely valuable service, because so many people are realizing that their safety is their responsibility, that they can't assume the government is going to come and help them. So this was the tenor of the conversation that we had with this delightful elderly couple. I say elderly, they're not that much older than me, but there it is, who really, for their entire professional lives at least, have been sort of ensconced in a system that is composed of largely anti-gun, anti-constitution, very liberal thinkers. So I'm encouraged because while I've read the statistics, anecdotally I've started to see that in concealed carry courses where more and more people who never thought they would ever own a gun are actually applying for and receiving concealed carry permits and getting trained on how to use that firearm to defend themselves and their family. And more, as I run into people who previously were of the anti-gun ilk, their mindset is changing as well, even in places like California. I thought you might be encouraged by that. Now, we can pick on those people and we can say, well, gee, it's about time, stupid. Why didn't you figure that out a long time ago? It's been obvious to the rest of us for a long time. Or we can embrace them and invite them into the 2A community. I think the latter is a better choice. So again, this is a couple that was a lot of fun to spend time with. Good morning, sir. Beautiful dogs. And with whom we thoroughly enjoyed laughing and having fun. And the political aspect of it was really not that key. I think one of the mistakes that we make, and I certainly make it, is that the Second Amendment and the right to defend one's hearth and home and self and family is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. I'm neither Republican or Democrat. I tend to vote nonpartisan, what they call it in California. I don't have a political party I join. I vote for the candidate who most aligns with my views. But again, I don't think it's a party thing. I don't think it's an ethnic thing. We're all Americans. I don't think that has anything to do with it at all, honestly. I think in large part it has to do with everyone's life is valuable. Everyone's life is precious. Good morning, ma'am. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And when you look in the mirror, regardless of who you see looking back at you, whether it's a white man or a black man or a brown man or a red man or a yellow man, doesn't matter. It's a human being. And your life is valuable. And to each of us, our families are valuable, our lives are valuable, and the defense of that is a natural right, what I would call a God-given right. It's not a right bestowed upon us by government or by the Second Amendment. It's God-given. And I think what's happening is a lot of these classic liberals in particular, I don't know about progressives, but the classic liberals in particular, many of them have discovered the truth of this. And while their political leanings from a liberal perspective may not change, what has changed and what seems to be changing is their stance on their right and the right of the people to keep and bear arms for the defense of themselves, their family, and their country. And I found that extraordinarily encouraging, not just to see it in polls, but to have that kind of a conversation with folks who had made such a drastic change in their calculation about the issue of gun ownership. Because, as I said in previous times, having that conversation, it would have shut them down. They wouldn't have wanted to spend any time with me. And that would have been the end of the conversation. They would have thought I was this evil person who was teaching people how to shoot. So I think we're having a great effect. I think there's a huge change in the mindset of Americans, but I'm also seeing it around the world. Well, people are more trusting of themselves, their neighbors, and the common people, and not the government. We got to stop thinking that the government's going to take care of us and creating nanny states. Because nanny states, I'm just going to say it, are not only ineffective, but frankly, they're evil. And they foster evil and corruption and a whole lot of other things. In any case, I've got about 4.5 miles more to go on this hike. So I'm going to wrap it up here, but I wanted to at least take this few moments this morning to encourage you with that experience that my wife and I had, which we both felt was absolutely worth gold. Have a great week, and wherever you go, whatever you do, stay safe.